I know this is a very hot topic, so a lot of participants will be joining us today, hopefully. And yet I would like to start since it is 10 o'clock in Washington, D.C. So thank you so much for being here on time. So dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 46th Grow, Learn, Connect webinar using generative AI in training, design, and development. So this free webinar is brought to you by the International Finance Corporation Grow, Learn, Connect program that is dedicated to empowering learning and development professionals worldwide, but especially in emerging markets. This program is implemented in partnership with the government of Luxembourg. And of course, it would not have been possible without the generous support of our presenters, of our master trainers, and our master trainer, our presenter today is Ismail Azeez. Before we begin, as always, I must remind you that this session is being recorded. Give me just a moment. So this session is being recorded, and we will post the recording on the webinar page sometime soon. That said, I would like to express my personal appreciation for every single one of you for joining us live today, for taking the time out of your busy schedules to learn with us, to contribute to our discussions, to ask questions. This is a precious experience for all of us, so thank you for being here today. If you would like to send your questions or comments, please make sure that you send them to everyone. And if you would like to say something, ask a question again, to speak up, please raise your hand virtually and our team will unmute you. Just a couple of reminders. So those of you who would like to become trainers or who would like to learn about the advanced methods in facilitation, and especially if you live in Kenya, we encourage you to join the in-person training of trainers session that is starting on November 4th, and it will be conducted by our master trainer, Esther Macharia. However, if you don't live in Kenya, especially if you live in a different time zone, it's not a problem at all. You can still join the same session online. The online session will be conducted for trainers, aspiring trainers, as well as seasoned trainers in November, starting November 5th. So we have provided QR codes here. If you're interested, please scan or visit the Grow, Learn, Connect events section to learn more about these learning opportunities. If you would like to become a coach, or if you would like to get certified as a coach, we encourage you to join the Professional Coach Certification Program that is starting on November 3rd. And while we're talking about coaching opportunities, I would like to remind you all that the IFC Grow, Learn, Connect program has recently launched the Coaching for Improved Performance self-paced course. This course is available 24/7. It is free of charge. It is available in English and French. However, I would like to warn you that the course is a little bit lengthy. So it has about 11 modules, and it can take about 11 hours to complete. Today is the first day of the International Coaching Expo that was kicked off by our partners, EZ37 Solutions. Perhaps you already missed it today. However, if you would like to learn more about how to become a coach, how coaching can help your career or your company, please consider joining the expo tomorrow. So it will still be conducted tomorrow. You still have that opportunity. Those of you who live in Africa, I think there's a great opportunity, a great conference coming up your way on October 16th. So that is in just 6 days from today. There will be a Learning and Development Africa conference. However, if you don't live in Africa, I still think this is a wonderful learning opportunity to join hands and discuss the common problems that learning and development professionals face worldwide. So please consider joining the L&D Africa conference on October 16th. And now it is my great pleasure to welcome Ismail Azeez. Ismail is an IFC certified master trainer. He is an assessor. He is a management consultant. He wears so many hats that I probably won't be able to list them all here. Ismail is a founder of Aspire Management and Development Consultants. That's a company based in Sri Lanka. Ismail has an MBA and currently he pursues a PhD degree in management, specializing in strategic human resource management. Ismail, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna, for that wonderful introduction. Let me start my presentation. Right. Okay, so this greeting from my country, because there'll be different time zones. Please accept my greetings from Sri Lanka. This topic, using generative artificial intelligence in training, design and development, is, I think, particularly very important and relevant topic for most of the learning and development professionals. So in this particular webinar, I would like to cover these objectives. Basically, I will be taking you all through a brief introduction to generative artificial intelligence, though we know I actually explored some of these areas in detail because we are not IT professionals to talk about this much in detail. But I was just very enthusiastic to learn about what is happening behind the screen. So I will just brief you on how generative artificial intelligence works, and then let's go through some of the benefits that we can gain, particularly in training development process, also in the training life cycle. Then we will talk about practical aspects of generative artificial intelligence in detail, also with some scenario. So I'd like to spend a little more time on that particular segment of this presentation. Then we'll also analyze some of the challenges and ethical consideration when it comes to implementing Gen AI based contents. So let's start with the structure of this discussion will be understanding Gen AI, application and benefits of Gen AI in ADI model, which is very familiar to all of us, and then application of Gen AI in design and development. So as I mentioned, I'll be spending little more time on this particular part of the presentation. Also, overcoming challenges and ethical considerations. Right. So let's start with this discussion with a quick understanding of Gen AI, a little bit of definition, technical terminology, and identify the real world examples of generative intelligence, how it works. I mean, we have been using most of these tools in our day-to-day life, but we'll just spend little time to revisit those and to understand how these are related to basically Gen AI and also something called large language model, etc. And so in this particular session, I would like to talk about some of the key terminologies, also give some definitions and basics of Gen AI. And also we'll talk little about difference between Gen AI and traditional AI. When we talk about Gen AI, which is a very popular term among us, there are various different models, but here in this particular discussion, I'm going to use ChatGPT examples or applications like Dale. We have Bing, etc., various different tools, but I'll be spending a lot of time in the practical application of ChatGPT in particular. So we'll be using how texts are generated and also using ChatGPT for that purpose. Right. Let's start with a very quick activity, and you can use the chat box to answer this question. We have on your left, you have artificial intelligence, some terminologies, machine learning, deep learning, generative artificial intelligence, large language model, and neural network. So these are some of the simple terminology, or we would say basics of generative intelligence and artificial intelligence. So you can use the chat box to answer this question. Please type A, for example, A and the corresponding number on the right hand side, the definition that is given. I'm watching the chat box so that we can see answers here. Let's spend little time on this to understand. All right, so I can see some answers coming in. Take your time. I just wanted it to be very simple in terms of the definition, because we are not from the technical, technical background sometimes, but just to understand the different terminology that is, I think, part of this learning, also make us comfortable to deal with the subject. All right, I can see a lot of answers coming in. Perfect, good. So let me quickly run through the definitions. Here I have artificial intelligence on my so artificial intelligence basically is, as we all know, simulation of human intelligence by machines to perform tasks like reasoning, learning, decision making, etc. And also machine learning. Thank you for all your answers. Machine learning is subset of artificial intelligence where machines learn from data to improve performance on the task. We'll talk about some examples on this. Also, we have deep learning. Deep learning is branch of machine learning. Like you can see cascading definitions from the artificial intelligence. We derive at machine learning, and then from machine learning we have deep learning, a branch of machine learning using neural networks. So rest of it is basically the neural network with many layers to model complex patterns in large data sets. So these are almost data driven and based on patterns that the system, or I would always call it system, but generative artificial intelligence model that will generate new things. So generative artificial intelligence is basically capable of generating text, images, music, etc. based on learned patterns from existing data. So when I say this learn pattern, it is basically using some of the existing models, some of the existing data, some of the existing examples. For example, if you talk about a lesson plan, maybe a learning objective, set of learning objective, the artificial generative intelligence or Gen AI use the existing examples. And then we have large language model, or very popularly called as large language LLM. And LLM and neural network, though the definitions are, the words are different, but the definition is very much similar. Let me give a good example. Now, for example, we have a large room where we have people of people of different caliber. I would say people different experts. I will go to that example and come back. Okay. If you had access to all the experts in the world in any field, whether it be marketing, whether it be human resource, whether it be management, how would you leverage their knowledge and experience to enhance your training program? Let's answer this question. Now, I just want to draw your attention to this. Imagine you have a large hall where you have all the different experts in that room. all the different experts, and they can also understand your language, which is English, I would say. You, the people here in this forum can understand simple English. The large language model is something similar to this. You have so many different experts, and you have so many different authorities or people who have knowledge in that subject matter, and you can communicate with them freely, and you can also communicate with them without bothering much about the level that I mean level that you have, or would say whatever background that you are coming from, you can easily communicate with them. This is a very important point that I just want to raise. The robots are coming. I just was able to listen to the audio book of this particular book, which says the future of jobs in the age of automation. Any job that we do, any career that we are in, artificial intelligence will have its impact very soon. It's happening right now. I mean, whether it be training, whether it be coaching, whether it be anything that, for that matter, generative intelligence and artificial intelligence has a very big hand on that. Right. With that, I would like to give some examples. I will just quickly go through these examples. Speech and image recognition. We have we have already have experience of these things. For example, it can be Google Lens, Pinterest, Pinterest Lens, and then we have Google Translation. We generally use these tools, chatbots, navigation apps like Google Map, Waze, and we also have email spam filtering, and then we have video surveillance systems, ad recommendation based on our preferences. So we browse through the internet, and all of a sudden we see some of the advertisement that we were like looking for, some products that are being looked for are advertised. And then we see traffic alerts. When you are driving a car, something with the Google Map, etc., you see traffic alerts, and self-driving cars, cybersecurity system, weather predictions, virtual assistant. All these are products of generative intelligence in action. So generative intelligence is not new, that we already use generative intelligence, but very particularly, as I was talking about, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning are all interconnected. Deriving from deep learning, we have generative intelligence, which is basically capable of generating text images, video, or audio clips. And as I mentioned very clearly, this is happening why we have training data. Already we have given data so that it can generate new information based on the previous information. Right. Very quickly, difference between the traditional artificial intelligence, traditional machine language, and generative intelligence. In terms of purpose, the generative intelligence basically generate new data samples that resembles a given set of training data. So I just want to develop a training material. Say, for example, I want to create a PowerPoint presentation. I want to develop some learning objective based on based on Bloom's taxonomy, or I want to prepare a lesson plan, or I just want to develop a training proposal. All that all those can be done because the purpose of generative intelligence is to generate new data based on existing samples. And then data interaction. When it comes to data interaction, what happens is the traditional models, traditional machine learning models, learn from data to make predictions or decisions on new unseen data. But in generative intelligence, model produce new data that were not part of the original data. So Original data is different, but part of it's not part of the original data, but it can create similar data. So there were a lot of training plans developed. There are millions of training lesson plans developed, session plans developed in the past. Based on those information, those are stored in the World Wide Web. The generative intelligence or generative artificial intelligence can produce completely new data. Completely new data. These are some of the basics that you already know. Okay, let me now take you through this activity. This is a very interesting activity. I would say you have various different experts in one room. You have experts in marketing, human resource management, performance management, coaching, training design, training development, various different subject domains and experts are there in one room. If you had access to those people, you just want to create a training model on branding, which you just want to create the branding content for your material. I mean, the training presentation would be based on the expert knowledge that are there in the world. How would you feel? Can I expect some answers to this question in the chat box, please? You have access to all different experts in the world, and they are interested and capable of helping you. So if you have access to those people, how would you enjoy that experience? I would like to expect some, I'm expecting some responses in the chat box, please. You have all different experts in one room, and then you just want to make use of their knowledge and expertise for your training and development work. So you would ask them to review the training content that you have developed for some improvements. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So you can simply ask them for their review, their feedback on your material. What else? These are experts. These are authorities in the world. They are the authorities for this some of these subjects that we are dealing with. So all of them are in one room, and you just have access to those people. And how would you leverage? How would you make use of them for your training and development work? Imagine. I would like to see more responses in the chat box, please. Yes, ask them to provide more recent data for your more recent data for your training. I would pose a question and ask them to respond from their different backgrounds. Always mindful not to lecture but facilitate learning. All right, super, super, super good. Right. So you would consider them as trainers and they just want to facilitate something. So you can ask them to facilitate. You can consider them as a facilitators in this case. Can I see some more responses? Wonderful responses. Enjoying. These are very beautiful responses. Imaginations. Yes. Hope you all are typing. Ask them to provide more recent data for your training. Ask them to help you on pose a question and ask them to respond from their different backgrounds. Always, yeah. Ask them for critical review of the training. Yeah, critical review of the training material, critical review of the training methodology, critical review of the objective that you have set for training. Wonderful. So imagine the large language model is consisting of all different experts, So as training designers and developers, as training professionals, as learning and development specialists, we have all the access to these experts and the knowledge that is already been generated. Right. So yeah. So we will basically make use of them in training and development. Let me take you all through the next stage of this discussion. So large language model is language model notable for its ability to achieve general purpose language generation and understanding. So I mean, you can see nodes here, different nodes. These nodes can be your training objective. These nodes can be your, let's say, lesson session plan. These can be instructional design. These can be any terminology, any task for that matter. So large language model is capable of doing something for us. So what we do is basically how we can make use of the generative artificial intelligence in ADI model. When I say ADI model, this is a very familiar jargon, I mean very familiar terminology in analyzing, designing, developing, implementing and evaluation of training. So let me take you all through some of the benefits that we can gain from generative artificial intelligence in each of these stages, but I will be focusing very much in detail on the design and development phase. Right. So let's talk about the ADI cycle and also key benefits of using Gen AI in these stages. Okay. So we have analyze stage, design stage, develop stage, and evaluation stage. So we have various different challenges in terms of, I mean, times, in terms of knowledge, in terms of structuring, or maybe in terms of presenting it in the right language, or maybe summarizing some of the contents to suit the audience, or make it relevant to the audience. Some of these are challenges that we face. So in analyzing, designing, developing, implementing, and evaluation, we have various different tasks associated with these stages. Now, for example, analyzing a training or training need, I would require a training need analysis questionnaire. Maybe some question that I can ask the HR manager or a training development manager or some relevant informant so that he will answer my question, but I just want to have a list of questions that I should ask. So developing a training need analysis questionnaire would be a challenge for me. In terms of designing a training, I might think of some top level objectives, which will be like basically based on the training needs, etc. So that might take little time to develop it. So likewise, in each of these stages, we have various tasks. I'm just listing down few of them. In analyzing training need, we have need assessment questionnaire. It can be need assessment survey, need assessment questionnaire, maybe something that we use for a focal group discussion, etc. And setting up learning objective and also audience analysis. Now, for example, I would ask some questions, maybe I would run a survey to understand perspectives of the trainers. Recently, I have an experience. Basically, we wanted to train some of the government officers on renewable energy technical aspect, and we wanted to gauge their understanding of the subject knowledge, which is the theoretical knowledge of the subject. And also then I just wanted to gauge their understanding and exposure to some of the practical aspects, whether it be installation, maintenance, whether it be some troubleshooting, etc. We wanted to understand what is their level of exposure to those practical aspects of the training. So what happened? We basically used the curriculum. Let's say in NVQ 5 curriculum. NVQ 5 curriculum has a full set of instructions, which is basically talking about their the curriculum, expectation to qualify them in the NVQ qualifications, etc. So what we can simply do is basically based on the curriculum, which can be in a PDF form or a Word document, you just copy paste or just attach a document, the PDF document, which is the curriculum. Based on that, I would ask the Gen AI system, ChatGPT, to generate some question suitable for this audience. I mean, which is a very simple task in when it comes to using application of Gen AI. But otherwise, it will take a hell of a lot of time. Like you spend about 2-3 hours to read through all the curriculum, understand the practical aspect of the competencies, etc., and then convert them into questionnaire. Lot of work. But by using ChatGPT or Gen AI, you can simply develop need assessment question. You can simply attach the curriculum and ask the system to generate some question. So all these make our life easier as training professionals. And let's move on to the design part. Again, you have number of tasks. I have just listed down only three tasks that we will accomplish to design a training. Training plan, it can be content outline, it can be material selection. We can simply use Gen AI to facilitate this process. Then we have development. When it comes to training development, again, we have content creation. The content must be relevant to the audience. Content must be relevant to the practical issues that the participants will be are facing. Learning activities. Now, I just need to convert my content into activities to make sure that I'm running a experiential based training. And then we have assessment as part of the development. I must ensure that I have number of techniques to assess the knowledge. Implementation of the training, there we have facilitation tip, technical support, participant engagement, the various different techniques to engage with the participant. Then we have evaluation of the training, feedback collection. You need a questionnaire to collect the feedback, maybe using technically using the Kirkpatrick model. So Kirkpatrick model is already there, and many people have used this Kirkpatrick model, and they have, I mean, developed number of questionnaires or whatever to do is make use of that existing knowledge to develop something new. So I would use feedback collection, develop a feedback collection form, performance evaluation form, whatever criteria, something, or then I can also use training improvement strategies, developing some improved training based on the feedback, etc. All that is possible with Gen AI. I think some of these are familiar terms and also familiar strategies. Let me now take you all through the application of Gen AI. As I mentioned earlier, this is a very crucial part of this discussion. Application of Gen AI design and development in the design and development stage. So let me run a small survey, a small poll. Basically, we'll be talking about prompt engineering, which is a very popular terminology these days. And then some of the application examples, how we can very effectively use the prompt engineering technique to generate content, generate some of the output that we want. And also I'll be exploring a unique tool called RP at RP, which is basically a prompt engineering strategy that we can use in our day-to-day life. Right. Let me now run a small survey to understand how you experience or how you feel about these two things with regard to training, design, and development. Right. Okay, you can, I think you can see the poll.
Ismail, while the poll is running, I think there are some comments in chat and
Right.
specifically
Okay.
questions.
Okay. Sure.
I'm wondering if you will be addressing these
Sure.
questions later in the
Right.
presentation.
Sure. I'll do that. Yeah. Sure. All right. So I can see responses coming in. So in the design phase, some of the major challenges that we face as training designers. I'm just looking for more responses. Or I can see 50% of the participants have responded, and I just I'm looking for more responses. This is a very important question that I just want to understand from training professionals' perspective. What is the most challenging uh, task to training design? So the majority of them talk about engagement and interactivity in training. And next to that, it's aligning training with business goals. Then we have time constraints in developing custom contents. Sometimes we have a standard presentation on leadership, for example. We use that presentation over and over. I mean, sometimes when we present that to a new audience, we just feel this is a very boring presentation because this was there developed sometimes back, and we were using this for a long time. Yeah, then we have I think more responses are coming in. More responses are coming in. You can also see the results are changing. Results are changing. Okay, let's okay, with the new responses, I see some of the results are changing. Let's all right. Okay, so let's see the results. These are some of the common challenges that we have in terms of training design. Very common ones. I would think these are very common ones. So we have basically starting from 25% ensuring engagement and interactivity. Then we have time constraints, as I mentioned earlier, developing custom content. Then we have 10% aligned with training, aligning training with the business goals. And then we have difficulty in identifying learners' needs, followed by lack of learning objectives. Sometimes the learning objectives are not clear. Right. Now let me go to another poll. When it comes to development phase, let's focus that. Right. Okay, you can answer this as well. This is training content development phase. So we have a lack of clear objectives and direction from the stakeholder, insufficient time for or time deadlines for development. Right. So excellent. We see again limited resources. That is one of the main concern. Now we sometimes need to hire a specialist to do this work, maybe a consultant to give us technical insights or some knowledge sharing on particular topics. So that's another challenge that we face. For example, in the recent example, project one of the project I was working in, we had a difficulty of hiring some technical experts to develop some questionnaire. The need assessment questionnaire was completely developed by using Gen AI, but as I mentioned, with some insights on the curriculum, on the background, etc. So here again we see number of responses and also limited resources actually is taking high score, limited resources in terms of budget, tools, access to subject matter specialists, etc. is a primary problem, and then we have insufficient time, tight deadlines to develop high quality content. Right. So I think as we discussed this in particularly with different stages of designing and development, we have number of issues. So let me now take you through how we can address some of these issues with Gen AI, particularly using some technical aspects, or rather I would say strategies, which is very popularly known as prompt engineering. Right. So this is the result that we'll quickly go through the results. As I see, I mentioned 15% limited resources, 10% insufficient time, and then we have 5% ensuring engagement and interactivity, and also another 5% lack of clear objectives, etc. Right. So let me now take you all through the practical aspect of designing and development. Now here I have listed down a long list of tasks that we will do when it comes to design and development. Like you all mentioned in the poll, generating comprehensive lesson plans is one of the tasks. Formulating clear measurable objectives another task. Suggesting experiential learning methodology, like you all mentioned, some engaging activities, creating anchoring ideas, providing tailored teaching tips, etc. These are important aspects of training. Thought-provoking questioning, maybe you may have some Socratic questioning, anchoring questioning, multiple choice questioning, and also create some comparison, organize information into like in different ways. For example, tabulating some information, facilitate collaborative learning experience by suggesting group activities, quizzes, different scenarios, case studies. All these are tasks that we accomplish during the design and development phase. I think all of you will agree on these tasks. These are general tasks that we accomplish during design and development phases. Right. Relevant examples, tailored examples, applying concept, role playing, relating training content to their daily work. So how we convert the theoretical aspect to practical aspect of their works, etc. So these are very practical ideas that we basically need to accomplish during training, design, and development. All right. Now, the terminology prompt engineering is becoming very popular. I mean, there are various books on this topic. If you talk about recent publication, there are many publications talking about prompt engineering, but then again, on particular subjects, for example, prompt engineering relevant to teaching, prompt engineering relevant to coaching, prompt engineering relevant to training, design, etc. So it's actually subset of different subset that talks about different specialization and application of prompt engineering in those specializations. Right. There is no real magic to writing prompts. I will make it very simple. I'll show how we can do very practical and very effective prompt engineering with some techniques. Basically, the simple idea. Now, I just want to show you an example. I want to make an impressive presentation on branding. I want to make an impressive presentation on branding. I want to ask all the genius in this world to help me. So this is my pressing need. I want to make a very impressive presentation, maybe for a corporate company. So I want to make an impressive presentation on this subject, and I'll just want to talk to all the genius in this world. Let me show how we can accomplish this. I would say list 10 important books on branding. 10 important books on branding published from 2010 to 2020. Summarize 7 salient concepts or ideas from these books, because I can't be spending so many hours or so many days on reading some of these books, and also some of these books are not available in the in the library, etc. So I just want to ask the generative intelligence to or I would say ask the genius in this world to help me on this particular subject. Now see the results. Before that, I just want to mention creativity. When you are using generative artificial intelligence anywhere in that particular horizon, creativity is an inherent ability that cannot be taught or only developed. It can be developed, but can't be taught. So what I wanted to get as result is basically an impressive presentation covering all the recent publications on branding. Now I get 10 important books that those were published in the recent past. If you are using a paid version of the ChatGPT, for example, you can even go beyond 2020. You can even ask 2023, because some of these materials are already there in the large language model. Now these are the 10 books that I'm just listing down. The system has listed down for me. Building a story brand, clarify your message so customers will listen, by Donald Miller, published in 2017. So likewise I have 10 books listed relevant to my topic, my presentation, and then I have salient concept, because I just wanted very unique concept. But though I have 10 books here, but I wanted to list only 10 salient points. The power of storytelling is one of the important aspect that I can talk about. Building a story brand. I have a very impressive, very short description of what the topic is. Differentiation through simplicity, etc. This is another salient point. Then I have brand naming as competitive advantage. These are some of the important concepts that these publications give. Right. So, like I said, we can be very creative so that we can develop a lot of new ideas. Now, these are some of the books that we can refer. Prompt engineering for non-techie teachers like us, maybe for teaching professionals. Then we have prompt engineering and ChatGPT. Again, these are some of the latest books that talks about teaching, training, etc. Unlocking ChatGPT smart and lucrative side hustle ideas with the AI. So many publications are coming in to help us on this particular subject. But as I mentioned earlier, the generative artificial intelligence give us the freedom to design our prompts in the way that we want. Right. To make it very clear and simple, these are some of the strategies that we can use. We can always collaborate with the large language model, share insight. We can maybe we can have conversation with the large language model. Like I said, we have experts all in one room. We can talk to them. We can communicate them. The second one is we should be very clear and specific when we are asking for a question, asking for a for some support or writing the prompt. Then importantly, use complete sentences. We have to use very precise complete sentences so that the large language model will understand. Then we have include context. We can always give the context. I will give you a lot of examples on this. Then we have another strategy, use prompt as input example. You can always say, give some examples, right? I want something similar to this. Recently, I wanted to create a learning activity based on one of the existing activities. So I was using this activity for a long time, but I was just feeling bored with the activity. I wanted to create something new. So I gave the system an example of this activity. I described this in detail, and I asked, I want a similar activity. So I basically created something very novel. Then as another strategy, specify output format. We can always say, I want a presentation, I want some bullet points, I want a table, right? Then I have experiment with different phrasing. We can always change our phrase. We can always change the prompt that we use, and then also appropriate length, right? You can mention the length, otherwise it will be a lengthy document, lengthy description. I just want only 7 points on branding, just 7 points from various different publication, maybe 10 popular books or whatever, but I just want only 7 points. We can always test the answer and refine it. Handle edge cases. Sometimes some of the examples are totally different, so we need to reconsider writing the prompt. And then we have avoid biases and inappropriate content. Sometimes we ask a wrong question, and system will, Gen AI will give us wrong, I mean, contextually complicated and bias responses. Leverage prompt for fine tuning. We can always use prompt for fine tuning. We can always do conversation with the Gen AI, so that these are some of the specific strategies that we can use to improve our prompts. Right. Based on these, I would like to, okay, let me stop for a while. I don't know whether I'm too fast. So you can grasp some of these ideas. Be clear and specific, use complete sentences, include context, use prompt as input example, specify output format. I just want some table comparing two aspects, lead and manager, tabulate that information based on a book example. So use appropriate length. So these are strategies that we can use in developing prompts. All right, so I would like to see chat box for a quick answer. Am I making this interesting? Yes, no. You can say whether this presentation is making you active, interesting. All right. All right, super, good, cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right. So I would definitely share this presentation with all of you so that you can make use of this some of these strategies. Also, you can make use of the same presentation to teach your colleagues in your locality. That's totally okay with me. Right. Now, real progress always take reasonable patience. Remember that real progress always takes reasonable patience. Remember that statement. Real progress always takes reasonable patience. To make it easier, the prompt engineering can be made very effective by providing a role. R stands for role, P stands for purpose, A stands for audience, T stands for the specific task, R stands for requirement, specific requirement that you want. P again stands for parameters. Parameters is a number of bullet points. Parameters can be you need a table. Parameters can be something you ask the ChatGPT to compare two things. Parameters. So remember, real progress always takes reasonable patience, role, purpose, audience, task, requirement, and parameter. Very simple strategy. You can apply this anywhere in your training development scenario. Role is basically act as. I can ask ChatGPT Gen AI to act as a training designer. I can ask Gen AI to act as a participant. I can ask Gen AI to act as a say training observer, or maybe a specialist on particular subject. Purpose. Why do you need it? You need it for a presentation. You need it for a say you need it as a reading material for a participant. You need it as a proposal to submit to someone. So you specify the specific purpose. Then audience, who is the intended audience of this content? It can be say teachers, it can be senior managers, it can be a couple of experts in the organization who are dealing with marketing or brand building, etc. The task, summary of what the Gen AI need to do. And then we have requirements. What is the specific requirement? This can include contain what it should contain, what it should include, etc. And then parameters for output. How do you want the output to be? So remember, real progress always take reasonable patience. Role, purpose, audience, task, requirement, and parameters are important aspects of prompt engineering. Now, this is an example I am just using to explain it very clearly. I asked Gen AI, I would say ChatGPT to take a role as an expert on Gen education. So I assign the role of Gen education expert, suggest content for a 1 hour presentation. That is my purpose. My purpose is just a 1 hour presentation. The audience here in this case, teachers. The task on effective teaching for generation Z students. So I just want to develop some presentation. Then the structure requirement is basically structure the content suitable for a 1 hour PowerPoint presentation, suggest a starting activity and the timeline for each slide. Precise. I just give the precise instruction to the Gen AI, the ChatGPT, so that it will give me a precise presentation suiting 1 hour with activities, with timeline, all that is given. Let me show that to you. Starting activity, it says 5-minute activity. The activity is Gen Z icebreaker. Objective of the activity, and as you all mentioned, engaging training is one of the challenging area, designing engaging content. So it also suggests activities that you can use based on millions of training activities that are already stored in the World Wide Web, somewhere in the World Wide Web. Get teachers to reflect on their interaction with Gen Z students. Instructions ask the audience to share one word that they associate with Gen Z student using a polling app, something. Wonderful. So I can use this as an online content, for example, and then discuss the results. So starting with that activity, I will proceed with my presentation. Introduction to Gen AI. 5 minutes on that. Key points are also given that are required for the presentation. Then slide 2, I would spend 7 minutes on slide 2. Then I have salient points there as well. I have 4 different points that I should talk about. All these are based on my precise prompt that I have given to the Gen AI. Very precise prompt. So articulating this, generating this idea is very crucial, very important. Let's look at one more example of this. Yeah. Again, I have asked you can continue. You can continue. You can ask setting learning objective. I just want to ask ChatGPT to give me 3 learning objectives. 3 learning objectives. So identify key characteristics and learning preferences of Generation Z students. Apply appropriate instructional strategies and engagement techniques tailored to Generation Z learning needs. Evaluate different teaching. So these are the objectives of my presentation. Very precise, very precise. Now moving forward with another example. Here I would ask as a leadership author. A leadership author. I would say author the leadership challenge. I can give as the author of the leadership, the book Leadership Challenge. That is the role. I'm just talking to the author of the leadership challenge. Suggest content for coaching conversation. That is the purpose, and the audience here are leadership coaches. I am having a session for leadership coaches, but I just want to make it very precise and focus on the book, the Leadership Challenge. The task is on measuring leadership success. Very precise and very clear. Suggest 5 powerful questions that the leadership coach can use. Part of the training program, I just suggest these are some of the questions that you can ask from your client on measuring success of leadership. Now the answer is actually based on this book. This is one of the popular book when it comes to leadership coaching. So my prompt is based on basically based on this book. So what happens in the next this stage is the session is on measuring leadership success. Session goals are very clearly given. I would quickly go back to my prompt here. I am conducting a session for leadership coaches, and this is a high level training that I just want to do, and I am very precisely requesting the ChatGPT to give me 5 powerful questions at the end of the program, so that I will make those questions as the take home messages so to the participants, but based on this book. So see the coaching conversation session, measuring leadership success. The session goals are precisely given to provide leadership coaches with tools and insight for measuring leadership success. Facilitate discussion based on best practices in assessing leadership success. All based on the book that I talked about. Then you have introductory session. Or totally the session time is 60 minutes. I have 5 minutes introduction. I have 10 minutes to understand leadership success. Likewise, it can go on. Then I have asked 5 important questions, powerful questions that those coach can ask their clients. What are the most significant indicator of success you observe in your client leadership practices, and how do you measure them? One of the important questions. How do you ensure that the feedback you gather is constructive, lead to meaningful growth of your client? So these are questions that the coaches will ask. So likewise, you can make use of these simple technique, role, purpose, audience, task, requirement, and parameters to match to any situation, in a very simple manner. See, I haven't talked much about I haven't taken any serious effort on writing the whole prompt, but I have just made it very simple, given that the role, purpose, audience, task, requirements, and the parameters are very clear, right? Let me take you all through another good example that we can recall. In this case, I ask, uh, uh, I take a role. I basically take a role because I'm not assigning a role to the Gen AI. I am a technology integration specialist, my role. I am a training specialist. I am an instructional designer. I am a master trainer. I am a, say, performance management coach. I am a life coach. I am a counselor. I am a maybe a therapist, whatever, right? I am a CBT therapist. So I assign my role. This can also be given in the ChatGPT profile. It's a comprehensive process where you can uh, I mean, click on your image in the ChatGPT. You can describe what you do. You can describe what you do in detail, so that always it will refer to you as that particular specialist. So it's easier for me to talk to ChatGPT, introducing myself, my background, so that it will always refer to my previous examples, my previous experience, etc. So in this case, I am I'm assigning me a role. I am a technology integration specialist. I am conducting a training session on ChatGPT for teachers. My audience consists of educators from various disciplines and grades. My audience, and the task is I want to demonstrate how teachers can effectively utilize ChatGPT in their teaching practices. My requirements are also very clear. Provide a brief overview of ChatGPT's capability and potential applications in education. Highlight specific examples and use cases tailored to different subject areas and grades. Offering practical tips and strategies. So I have just given little more elaboration on my requirements. So you will get very precise answer as output, right? So I think I have made it very clear on how we can apply prompt engineering very effectively using this particular technique, RP, T, RP, that is RP at RP. Remember that formula so that you can make use of that anywhere in your content development, design and development phases of training. Right. Let me now talk about a very important, very important topic: overcoming challenges and ethical consideration. Now, you can be an expert, but still, sometime when your audience read out the materials, when your client look at your proposal, your training proposal, they can easily see this is ChatGPT generated or artificial intelligence or generative intelligence generated content. Your proposal is all, or your training materials is all Gen AI generated material. What will happen? What can happen to your image? What can happen to your professional outlook? So these are some of the challenges that we can foresee. Can I also see in the chat box what can be some of the challenges in terms of training professionals that we can see in terms of ethical considerations? Yeah, I already mentioned one. They can easily see whether this is ChatGPT generated content. Any other point that you need to add? What can be the challenges? All right. Yeah, as it was for 1 hour, I need to disconnect. All right. Okay, right. No problem. All right. So how we acknowledge AI as source of knowledge? Is there a limit to applying AI? For example, can I apply it to drafting technical proposal in support of application for consultancy assignment? So very practical, very good question. Sometimes, as we understand, sometimes we make it very we charge for number of consultancy days, but we design all the content, all the materials in a couple of hours. But we have already charged for 3 days. It is ethical. Yeah. So we can, I mean, in my case, I might sometimes mention in the proposal some of these contents are ChatGPT generated content. Yeah, better to cite it. We can always include references. Of course, in Bing, you can always ask to provide you references. Again, in Gen AI, I mean ChatGPT also, you can ask in the prompts itself, in the parameters itself, you can say, I want references to these materials. So that is always possible. So we have to be ethical. We have to consider these challenges so that we can maintain our professional image. So following are some of the ideas. Basically, we should always maintain transparency, disclose when content is AI generated to maintain trust and transparency. We can always say part of this is Gen AI generated. But as I mentioned earlier, we would refer to number one books, number one content in the world, number one materials in the world, popular authors. But again, those are summarized with the help of Gen AI. But still, we refer to those books, we give reference, we give credit to those materials. Accountability, hold creator accountable for the quality and the implication of AI generated content. So we need to make it accountable. We should take the responsibility. Diversity and inclusion. Sometimes when you create some content, it will like take one side. It will be biased to male, female, biased to different ethnic groups, etc. So we have to be very mindful of that. And also continuously we should monitor the results, regularly assess the AI generated content. So we see accuracy, we read through, not that we just produce it and publish it. No, I mean, use it in training programs, but we should always look at the accuracy, whether it is biased towards one ethnic group or one group, right? Ethical implication of the content. All these we should better monitor, consistently monitor, and sometimes we can do a conversation. We can, I mean, tell back to the system that we find some of these content are biased towards some groups. Also, human oversight, incorporate human oversight to review and verify. We can always do that. We can edit it. We can change the content as we want in our natural, I mean, our own language. And also, whenever there is a regulatory framework, where is a, I mean, ethical code of conduct, whatever, we can always abide by that so that we can be very ethical and responsible in our content generation. Right. So I think that brings to the end of this presentation. I basically talked about generative artificial intelligence, Gen AI, and its core principles. And then we talked about we talked about the benefits of Gen AI in various different stages of the training cycle. And we spent a lot of time with practical examples on application of Gen AI, particularly in design and development stages. Then also we discussed about ethical consideration and some of the challenges that trainers and L&D specialists can face. So that ends my presentation. Thank you very much for your participation. And if you have any questions, I have, I think, one question in the chat box, which was already asked. So when I share some information, it will actually reveal my personality, my privacy, etc. is shared in the large language model. Of course, that is not a concern at all, because large language model doesn't, I mean, that's the practical and technical aspect of it, as I understand and read it. It doesn't keep your record unless it's basically, you declare who you are, but those information is not shared anywhere in the large language model. But of course, now as Google does and as many other cookies do, our information, all our information, all our interaction is recorded somewhere on the World Wide Web. Right. Any other question that we need to discuss? Thank you very much for your feedback. Thank you so much. Wonderful feedback. Thank you very much, and hope you will have more webinars on this issue of yeah, superb.
Ismail, I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that we address some of the comments and questions that were
All right,
previously posted
all
in
right.
chat. So if you upload the document to ChatGPT and give away your information, it becomes public. So there is a risk of losing the uniqueness of know-how. I think you partially addressed that issue. And the second one was when we discussed like listing some of the books, whatever it is a new topic and there is not so much information about it. And I see another question about what other resources do you recommend besides ChatGPT?
Sure. As I mentioned, now there are various recently published books on this particular subject, so you can browse through. And I mean, also there are various websites, particularly giving you prompts, instantly available prompts to suit your requirements. So that's a strategy we can use, but I would always say make it very simple. Use a very simple strategy, as I mentioned in my presentation, rather than complicating yourself writing long essays to get some things done. So make it very simple. Yeah. So I would present my, share my presentation with all of you so they can make use of it.
Katie, I see that you raised your hand, so I'm going to unmute you. Okay, so you can speak up. Katie, you have been unmuted.
It's
Katie, can you hear us? Did you have a question or a comment?
it was.
I guess not. All right, then
Yeah,
I'll
right.
mute Katie Beckett. All right. Yes.
There was a question issue. What issues arise with using AI generated image in the presentation? I don't see any big issue with that, but the credibility. Now, showing a real image versus generated image would actually lose the credibility, first thing, and also any natural image will appeal the audience. Sometime now journalists use this strategy to create an image and publish it. As the moment you publish the news, people start criticizing your article. So sometimes that can happen. So better we use natural images. But if it is a scenario that you want to develop, right, some different scenario that you want to create, maybe a case study, etc., you can always create an image using Gen AI.
Any more questions, comments, concerns? Perhaps some of you would like to share your own experience using generative AI and maybe give us tips on how we can, tips that we can incorporate into our practices. Please do raise your hand to share. We would love to hear from you. All right, it seems like we don't have volunteers at this time. So Ismail, I would like to thank you most cordially for, first of all, for gathering information on this topic and for sharing it with us. Definitely, I learned a lot today, and I hope all the participants did as well. So let's keep this conversation flowing. I think there's still a lot that we all can learn, and I'm pretty sure that you will be conducting more research on the topic on the use of AI for learning and development professionals. So please promise us that you will come back and share more insights that you will
Definitely.
gather.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for the opportunity.
dear participants, I would also be very appreciative if you could please scan the QR code that you can currently see on the screen, or I also posted the link to our survey. And please submit your feedback on today's session. Please tell us what you liked about the session or what you did not like about the session. Perhaps you can come up with more ideas that we can cover during our next webinars, whether related to AI or not related to AI. So give us ideas what it is that you would like to learn more about, to hear more about, and we would be happy to find experts, hopefully, who can answer the questions that you may have as a learning development professionals. Okay. And right now, I would like to briefly give the floor to Caroline Wazi. So Caroline is the host of the Learning Development Conference in Africa, and she just wanted to say a few words. Caroline, is it a good time to unmute you? Okay, Caroline, you have been unmuted, I think.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Caroline, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm not sure I can put on my video, but very happy to be for this opportunity to invite all of you to beautiful.
Caroline, you just muted yourself. I apologize, having some technical issues. Caroline, we cannot hear you.
All right, there we go. And my video is on as well. Okay, wonderful. So hopefully my image will appear very soon. But very happy to be here and for this opportunity to discuss the Learning and Development Conference. So thank you for that opportunity, Anna. So just to say that we are holding the conference next week from the 16th to the 18th of October, and the theme is Embracing Tomorrow, Unlocking Africa's Possibilities. There's a lot that's going on in Africa. There's lots of development as well in the learning space, but we know that there's always room for improvement. There's always more we can do, whether we are working in corporate organizations or as individual consultants. So join us. We have a wonderful array of speakers. We'll be posting the program on GLC as well as the registration link. So feel free to visit the event page on GLC and you'll be able to find it there. And we'll be looking on the first day, we'll be looking at leading sustainably, building tomorrow's leaders today. And then on day 2, that is on the 18th, we'll be looking at the future digital transformation and evolving workplace. This conference is taking place at the beautiful Safari Park Hotel, where they have expansive gardens and a really beautiful ambience to network, to engage, to meet other L&D professionals from across the continent, and really just to sit back and think, to reflect on how you're conducting your L&D practices. We'll also be having sessions on the future of learning and development in Africa, and AI is definitely part of the conversation. And the speakers we have are really amazing, so you do want to join. So you can join in person or you can join virtually. For those of you in Nairobi, you must come. And those of you in East Africa as well, it's just a hop across the border and you'll be able to come. For those of you who are farther afield, we appreciate that you may not be able to travel, but you can join virtually. So for the in-person, the pricing is at $300 or 40,000 Kenya shillings. And if you join virtually, it's $80 or 10,000 Kenya shillings. So very, very affordable, but very, very rich. For those of you who've attended previous conferences, it's the first time this is taking place outside of Accra, Ghana, and still hybrid. And so everyone can join. Don't feel left out. Be part of this amazing event taking place for the first time from Eastern Africa in sunny Nairobi, Kenya. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you so much, Caroline, for sharing this information. So indeed, we encourage everyone to join the conference and discuss how learning and development field in Africa can be improved, what challenges they face, et cetera, et cetera. But again, I would like to once again thank everyone for joining this webinar today. So once again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules. We're still kind of experimenting with the time that we dedicate to our webinars. We're trying to make them a little bit shorter, but it doesn't always work. So for now, I guess we will keep 1 hour and 30 minutes, but we will try to finish them a little bit sooner, okay? It's just today was really a hot topic, and I think there were a lot of issues that we had to discuss with you. So once again, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you hopefully at the next webinar. Bye-bye.